This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Doug Smith. It is 2:30 on Wednesday, so it is now time for our Monday through Thursday, although this week Tuesday through Thursday uh, podcast. This is the podcast where you will hear the truth. This is the podcast where you will hear the science surrounding the opioid crisis. And let me talk about that for a moment. The fact that it's a science. Got an email this morning, and to some people, I don't know if it's the way they're listening or the way that we're speaking, but we're coming across as if it's kind of a he said she said situation. Okay, they're saying it's opioid addiction, and we're saying it's not, and that's not what we're doing here. That's not who we are. That's not what we're doing. Okay, this is not a he said she said situation or he said situation. Okay, we're presenting the science. Okay, they're not. That's what this is. We're presenting the science. They're not. That's what this is. Okay. And so I was, today is the last of the podcast that we'll do on the second citizens petition. We've now gone through the whole thing. And so I was thinking, beginning tomorrow, we're just going to start going through some of the most important of the scientific studies and point out why they're so important. Okay. Because this is not a he said situation. They're saying this and we're saying that. No, not at all. We're presenting the science. We're asking our people to take a look at the science for themselves. I'm not asking anybody to believe me. Okay? If you're listening to the sound of my voice, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to look at the science. And there's a difference. And that was made clear to me in a couple of emails this morning. And so on a go-forward basis, I will be more careful with my words and much more cognizant of the fact that, wow, we got to make sure people understand we're just presenting the science. So let's finish up the second citizens petition, and then we'll move in. Beginning tomorrow, we'll move into a bunch of the scientific studies. Everybody loves science so much. All right, so. How do we end this second citizens petition? Okay. And what we're talking about here at the end, we're finishing up the 11th request of the FDA. We had 11 requests of the FDA. And the 11th request of the FDA was, hey, FDA, you got to do something. You got to get rid of this indication called opioid use disorder or opioid addiction, because that's how the damage is being done. And the reason damage is being done is because you, the FDA, in a very unscientific manner, awarded the indication exclusivity. Okay, the indication is opioid use disorder, opioid addiction, and you rewarded that indication with exclusivity. You basically gave them a monopoly. You gave the pharmaceutical companies a monopoly to manufacture, distribute, and advertise for opioid use disorder and opioid addiction. Okay. And they're making billions of dollars. Okay. There's billions of dollars being made on the manufacturing of and distribution of medicines to treat opioid use disorder and opioid addiction. And those companies are not going to want to walk away from the billions of dollars. That's the problem. That's the issue. Money is powerful. Okay. And that's where we are with this is thank you, FDA. And in our effort to get the truth out, you have put us in a position where we have to fight against the money. That's what you've done to us, FDA, in order to push the truth and in order to educate the people and in order for people to understand what really happened. We have to fight the money, billions and billions of dollars worth of money. And that's hard for us. It's hard for us to break through the ice. That's the challenge for us. Now, we'll accept the challenge. We will do this. We will get through this. Okay. But FDA, you need to recognize what you've done. When you gave exclusivity, when you gave a monopoly, when you granted a license to the pharmaceutical companies to make money based off the diagnosis of opioid use disorder, the diagnosis of opioid addiction, you created a monster, FDA. You created a monster. And a lot of people have died. In fact, I tell you what, beginning tomorrow, before we jump into directly into some of the articles, let's take a couple of days and let's review the graphic that I'm actually still working on it, entitled FDA Genocide. We will start with that tomorrow. I'm not sure we have Charles with us today. If not, then we'll wrap it up here. This will conclude our reading of the second citizens petition of the FDA. Tomorrow we will begin with the FDA genocide, and I want to begin with that. I want to go through that. I need to. These podcasts help me pull the words together, and it helps me to be a more effective communicator. To go through. To go through the citizens petitions like we've been doing. It helps me be a better communicator on the citizens petitions, and I want to be a better communicator on the FDA genocide. And again, I'll be very careful that I point out every day we're just presenting the science. We're not. If I'm giving my opinion, I'll tell you it's my opinion, but we're not trying to brainwash anybody. Okay, our people have already been brainwashed by the experts. They don't need more brainwashing. So we're not here to brainwash the people. We're here to present the science and let the people make their own decisions. So everybody have a great day. We will see you back tomorrow at 2:30. Don't forget to like and subscribe us. Don't forget to post this podcast on your social media. Don't forget to post this podcast on everybody else's social media. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.